Darren Tuttle here for Ferguson Roof Systems. For 43 years, Ferguson Roof Systems has been protecting Oklahoma's homes and businesses with quality roofing services. Their goal was to be the most honest and dependable roofing company in the state, all while providing free services such as lifetime labor warranty and annual inspections. Well, mission accomplished with thousands of client testimonials, an A+ Better Business Bureau rating, and a 5-star rating on Google. Look, the weather gives you enough to worry about, so why worry about who to trust with your roof? Call Ferguson Roof Systems today or find out more at fergusonroofsystems.com.
Hey everyone, Meteorologist Darren Tuttle with you. It is a Friday lunchtime weather update for you because the weekend's going to have some monkey business and we got to discuss that to let you know what you can expect, where, and when. So thanks for joining me. Make sure you like and share this video. Tell your friends and family about me and AT's weather. They can get the information they need. And Facebook doesn't always play nice. For example, right now, I did not get notified on my own phone that I was live. That's a problem. Social media is becoming more and more of a problem for various reasons, but even for me as a content creator, because it doesn't always tell you when I go live anymore, which is frustrating, obviously, for me. So I do have an option for that. So if you have been missing the notifications, they're not coming through, you can opt in to get notified here on Facebook. So I'm going to post a link, and I will send you a message through your instant messenger from Facebook to let you know I'm going live. So make sure you click on that weather update tab, and then every now and then you're going to have to hit the manage messages on there, manage updates, and then just kind of re-opt in. It's kind of an opt-in service, so it's not permanent, it's just temporary. So it kind of just makes sure that yes, you still want to hear from AT and see what he's got to say. That's all it is. It's like a third-party handler that just takes care of Facebook's flaws. Let's put it that way. All right, so tell you what, out there right now, it is a warm one. My goodness gracious, but it is sunny. Look at this. You wouldn't know we had changes on the way, would you? Looking at these numbers, 78 degrees here in my backyard, a southwest wind of all things. You know what a southwest wind typically means, warmer and drier weather, right? It does not usually mean rain for us, and today is the case for that, but tomorrow is a different story. All right, we're going to get to that here in just 2 seconds. Meanwhile, temperatures out there across the state are into the 70s, so it is a nice lunchtime period, but it will be warming up back into the 80s this afternoon because, you know, that's what happens here. We get these big wild swings in the fall, so that's nothing unusual. The winds that we talked about are kind of gusty out of the southwest, up to around 20 to almost 30 miles per hour at times. It's got to be west-southwesterly direction across most of the states. That means we'll be warming up this afternoon. So some highlights with those stronger winds. And, of course, we've had some drier air in place for a while, lower humidity. So that means that the fire danger has been kind of elevated the last few days here across the state. So the Weather Service has highlighted the areas up here across northern Oklahoma as a hot spot, pardon the pun, and then down here in southeastern and southern Oklahoma as well. Whereas still a lot of vegetation, still some residual wetness here, kind of keeping that in check. But this time of the year, you know, it's not hard to get a fire that gets out of control. Now we do have a threat of severe weather. Matter of fact, here is the severe weather potential for central and southern Oklahoma for Saturday, late afternoon, through the overnight period into Sunday morning, from basically from north to south as a cold front approaches. So it's mostly for pockets of gusty wind, hail up to right now, estimate up around quarter size. Not expecting tornadoes with this deal, which is some good news, but we definitely need the rainfall and the concentrated rainfall in the evening part of Saturday, kind of focused here across central Oklahoma, and then overnight that'll shift more towards southern and southwestern Oklahoma, and then rainfall amounts on Sunday will kind of start to drift down to the south, and some pretty good decent amounts. Here's a first look here at the Weather Service's idea of some rainfall amounts. We're going to look at this, 1 to 2 inches down here across southern and southwestern Oklahoma, maybe up to about an inch here in central. We're going to take a look at some of the model data here in just a second. It just came in hot off the presses, which is a little newer information than what that was provided with. And we'll see if anything's changed. Red flag warning, so that means, again, a high fire danger here across all of northeastern Oklahoma into Arkansas and Missouri. So we do have, again, needs to be careful. All right, well, if you do look across the central part of the country to the east a little bit, that is where the marginal risk of severe weather is from the Storm Prediction Center. So, you know, every now and then we do get a little severe weather in the fall, and typically it's a lot more active than we've had this year. This year's been a kind of a drier. Matter of fact, the last couple of years, we've been kind of dominated by a La Nina pattern, and that usually kind of shuts down a lot of this severe weather, and that has been the case here so far. All right, here's a look at the guidance for severe storms through the next several days. You can see nothing really happening here across most of the country as far as severe weather goes. All right, so the big pattern change. What's going to happen here? Well, a couple things here. First, let me show you this map here. All right, so remember, we like to look at the jet stream pattern, right? And we can highlight some stuff here for you. So think of it like a river of air, like a water body of water that kind of flows in between these little contours. All right, so that is kind of the movement out from the northwest to the southeast, and they form around these little areas of spin. We call them low pressure centers. Now, as you go into the upper levels of the atmosphere, we transfer that term to say heights, to not be confused with the surface. But in layman's terms, it doesn't matter. It's an area where you get disturbed weather and where you have a change in pressure. And that's where you get your big, outcomes, from rain to cooler weather to cold fronts to you name it. All right, so anyway, so here's the jet stream pattern. It kind of pulls it in from the northwest to southeast. All right, so this is what's driving in the cold fronts. Then what we have to do is we have to focus out here to this little guy here, which is an upper level disturbance. This is a low that's going to be drifting to the north and east rather quickly. And that's what's going to help to create our weather maker for the weekend. So let's put this into motion for you as we head into Saturday afternoon, into Saturday night. I'll stop it on Sunday morning. So you can see how this thing has moved to the east. But if you look out ahead of it, you see these little areas of kind of red pockets. These are all little upper level disturbances that get kicked out of the main low back here. So this is how you can get rain out ahead of the main upper level low system. So the good news is we get some rain out of this, and this is the pattern that is providing that. Now, as that moves through Monday, you see how the low kind of disintegrates across Oklahoma and North Texas, falls apart, and then we kind of have a split here in the pattern for a few days after that. What that means is you get a big low out here across the northeast, you get a big ridge of high pressure in between, out to the west, and then in between we get a stout northerly flow. Anytime you get a stout northerly flow, guess what that means? It's going to get cold. So wait till you see the temperatures here in the extended here in just a minute. I hope you're ready for it. It's a little shock. You might have to get out the coat closet, believe it or not. All right, so, and then the other big change here, and you can see that here on the map. I want to show you the surface pattern here real quick. So you can see the rainfall developing here in the Oklahoma region for the weekend. But what you also see is the surface, right? The surface high that comes down. This is little blue H that shows up here on the map, not to be confused with the upper level high. This is the surface that we live and breathe in. And the frontal position with this kind of trails from this low all the way back down like so. All right, so this is the Big Daddy cold front working through the country. So this high moves on in and heads down to the south and also off to the east. And that's what's going to cool everybody down. So pretty good looking, first good fall high that moves in and settles down across our area. And then after that, of course, we're going to moderate temperatures just a little bit. And then we get another push of some colder airs, another front, which, yes, you see that blue stuff, that is snow toward the end of October. So, yeah, that can happen. This is around the 25th, around the Panhandle area in Kansas and New Mexico with the secondary high that comes in. So that's way out there in the distance. We got plenty of time to discuss that later. Okay, so close-up view. We do have a resurgence of this moisture in the purple and blue that comes screaming north in Oklahoma. Look at that. Last minute. Comes right in here on Saturday into the afternoon hours. That's going to replace the sunshine we have out there, what seems to be really nice. This will start to make it a little more humid. We'll get some cloud cover, et cetera, and then that'll set the stage for some thunderstorms as this extra humidity is lying around. Now, if we do a close-up view of that and we show you where the dividing line is, I'm going to put this in motion, stop it right about where I want, Saturday at 4 or 5 o'clock. Here's 7 o'clock. All right, this is a really good line. So what you have is these little north winds, right? Kind of a north-northeast wind. Well, you guessed it. That's along the front. And look at that front is right here across I-40, literally right across the interstate. Down here on this side, you have a south to southeast wind at times. And this is what you call, it came from Texas. So technically, it's a warm front. So what you have is a warm front moving north and a cold front moving south that kind of combine right here over central Oklahoma. So that's good news because that's a lot of convergence, a lot of lift in the atmosphere. Because when air masses collide, they can't go down in the ground. They got to go up. It's forcing air momentum and energy back to the upward direction. So as long as you go upwards and you have some other factors at play, you get some rain out of the deal. So that's what's good news for us. As far as what we need is some much needed rainfall. I know if you have some plans, that's going to be problematic, right? So let's get into that as well. All right, so the first thing we'll do is look at the high-res model. It's got a couple of elevated showers here for Friday night and a Saturday morning, like a midnight up there in northeast Oklahoma. Just a little running batch, nothing big. And then as we head into Saturday afternoon and evening. But this model's a little late. It's about 3-4 hours late, I think, for where we'll actually see initiation. But it does fire around the I-40 corridor from eastern to western Oklahoma, and then down to southwest Oklahoma, and then kind of bubbles up more across the rest of the state here as we head into Saturday evening. There's 10 o'clock, for example, and there's a midnight hour. So you can see all these storms rolling through Saturday night into Sunday morning. Now, I didn't quite like the looks of that model as far as the timing goes. This one seems a little bit better, so I kind of like this one. So again, it's got the little midnight action later on this evening and tonight across northeast Oklahoma. Nothing, again, right home about, but at least it's some rainfall, right? And then here we go, 6 o'clock. We already have thunderstorms developing here in central Oklahoma. So this is the look I like better as far as this particular high-resolution model, and they kind of bubble up here across I-40. More stuff bubbles up in northern Oklahoma, moves through overnight. So it's going to be a bumpy night on Saturday. Again, pockets of little wind, little hail, nothing too dramatic, though, nothing huge or big like we normally see in the springtime. But you can see a lot of water falling from the sky here through early Sunday morning. Kind of continues to move southward into Texas and kind of starts to dry out here by Sunday afternoon across the body of Oklahoma. So if you have anything to do outdoors, it's a tough call. I mean, again, the first half of Saturday looks great. You don't really have to worry about rain until late afternoon. And then from that point forward, you have to bring stuff indoors. So if you have plans Saturday evening, you're unfortunately going to have to watch the skies. You can use my weather app, AT's Weather to Go. It'll track the latest radar trends you can look at to see if it's going to affect you and kind of plan ahead. Let's just jump on into the rainfall totals. This is the model blend, and it does show you significant amounts. We're talking about ½ inch or greater across a large area here of north central Oklahoma out to the east and down to the south up to about 1 inch. Now, this is a blended approach as far as a homogeneous view. In other words, it's not a convective approach. And in convective storms, you can get a quick dumping of ½ to 1 inch to 1.5 inches really quickly, especially if they train over the same areas. So it will not pick out the hot spots where you might get 2 to possibly 3 inches of rain. So that is a potential out there. Some isolated areas will get that in the outcome of this event through Sunday. Okay, temperatures out there. Here we go. Like I talked about today, pretty warm. We're up into the 80s. Don't necessarily like that. Sunday, cloudy, rain-cooled, 60s. Monday, 60. Remember that big arrow I drew for you on the map? Look at this. Tuesday morning, 37 with a high of 54. When I say you're going to have to raid your coat closet, I wasn't kidding. On the 19th, can you believe this? Could we see a freeze in Oklahoma and in central Oklahoma? And the answer is it's looking that way. So that might be our first freeze of the fall, or pretty darn well close to it. And we'll talk about that over the weekend. I'll have a blog out on Sunday to discuss that more. Meanwhile, back up to 62. And then after that, we're back up to really decent temperatures in the afternoon, but overnight lows still a little on the chilly side from 40s to 50s. So again, this is not completely unusual for the fall, but that is what happens here in Oklahoma. We get these nice little temperature swings. Some days are ideal. Others a little too chilly, and others a little too warm, but at least it's some change, right? It's something different for you. So there you go. That's everything I've got for you. This brings you up to speed as to what's going to happen, when's it going to happen, and why is it going to happen. So you've got the entire Meteorological 101 right to your doorstep. So I hope that was helpful. Now you can take that information, educate others, and pass it on. Let me see. Let me just check real quick. See if there was, I got like 2 minutes left here for my lunch break, so hopefully your lunch break was good, and thanks for using it to watch a little bit of the weather time with me. Let's see here. Okay, by the way, you guys on YouTube, thanks for checking in. Homesteading with a Purpose, I like it. You guys' names on YouTube are hysterical. It's rare you actually use a real name, so it's always just a lot of inside jokes and fun stuff that you do. So it makes it sometimes hard to read, especially on the fly. But thanks for checking in as always. Jody's always got you in the hello box as well. Let's see. Oh, Janice got a good message here on Facebook. Check your heating systems today and tomorrow. You don't want to wait until Tuesday morning to find out it's not working. You know, that's a good point. I haven't checked my heating system, and usually it's always like this. and you get that smell, you know, that when it first kicks on, and then you're like this. Phew. When it starts to blow out hot, you're like, I'm good. And now if it doesn't happen, then that's when you panic. But, you know, knock on wood, so far every year, not to jinx myself. Every time I do that, it ends up being good for me. So that's good news. And it's been going on a long time. All right, that is it for me. I'm out of time. I got to go, but I do appreciate you guys stopping by. Again, please like and share this video. Tell your friends and family about AT's weather. And I think that's about it. You guys have a great weekend, and we will talk again soon. All right, take care.